Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Today we have a special co-host, and that would be Michelle Crowe. Hey Michelle.
Hey there, how are you?
And we have a guest today, Mr. Bill Sisson. Bill's going to talk about the business market because he is the key person in Mobile. As president and CEO of Mobile Chamber of Commerce, he's going to give us some advice today for you small businesses to help us succeed. Hey, I'm Karen. I'm a former CPA, entrepreneur, business consultant with big ideas, and I'm the mom.
I'm Katie. I'm a payroll specialist, business owner, and detail-oriented person that makes things happen, and I'm the daughter. Welcome to Cheers to Business.
Mr. Bill Sisson, thank you for being here today.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for asking me.
I tell you what, I love Chamber of Commerce's, the big ones, the small ones, all of them. You were over the Mobile Regional Airport.
Right. I had been at the Chamber in the Economic Development role as VP of Economic Development for a number of years, about 6 years, and then went to the Airport Authority and then back at the Chamber, sort of coming home. But I've been in the Chamber work a long time. I worked at the Birmingham Chamber for about 8 years, so this is really my passion. I enjoy it, and it's really great to be in the midst of a chamber and a thriving economy like we have.
Why is it your passion?
Every day it's different, and that's interesting. You never know exactly what's going to be going on in any given day in the business community. And then also being able to make a difference. All of our jobs are important, absolutely. But at a chamber, whether you're involved as a volunteer or if you're on staff at a chamber, what you're doing makes a difference every day, and I like that part of it.
I noticed that you're a fellow Rotarian.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think chambers are like Rotary, that you really don't understand what they do, but you get in it for a business reason, but that's not why you stay. Yeah,
and I have worked at other chambers, and I'm on an association of Chamber of Commerce executives at a national level. And if I know nothing else, if I've learned nothing else, I've learned that chambers are different in every community. So it's really hard to define them because they really take on the character of whatever community in which they're located.
Well, I think it's the people involved, too, because even the surrounding Saraland, Southwest Mobile County, Sims has one, Chickasaw has one, Balabatry has one, and I think it takes on the culture of where they are, and it's also, but it's so dependent on who's contributing.
That's right. I mean, the volunteers, the members of a chamber, I always tell people, a chamber is only as good as its membership. And
staff.
And, staff's very important, but we would not be a chamber without the membership. And what I like about our chamber in particular is that we are a small, medium, and large business chamber. Over 93% of our membership are classified as small businesses. So we're primarily a small business chamber, but we do have medium and large businesses as well.
Now, I think that's very reflective of the businesses in Mobile.
Yes. So, I think we reflect this community.
And, I think we need the big businesses to come in to help the other smaller ones succeed. It's a trickle effect.
It is.
Do you know the percentage of the small businesses in Mobile? The population for Mobile and Mobile County are significantly different. It's the same for businesses as well.
Right. Our membership pretty much mirrors what we see here in Mobile, except that actually there are more small businesses than even our percentage of our members. It goes over 95% of businesses are classified as small in this metropolitan region. And they're very, very typical across the country. Small business is the backbone of any economy, and our national economy as well, and we can't forget that.
What is the legal definition of a small business?
So the U.S. government classifies it as 500 or less. We classify it as 100 or less.
Okay.
Employees.
Okay.
Yes.
That's the trigger.
Yes,
okay.
but when you really drill down, the vast majority of that 93% that I was talking about of our membership are 1, 2, 3, 4 person businesses, but officially 100 or fewer.
I noticed that you sit on so many economic councils, economic development, economic.
Yes.
And you have an MBA.
Yes.
You have all kinds of degrees, don't you?
I have the MBA, but I have continued my education. I think that's important for anyone to do that, and I encourage our team members at the chamber to do that as well. So I've also gotten my chamber executive degree, and
I didn't know there was such a thing.
Certified chamber executive, and that's really a great way to continue to learn, but also to meet other people that do what we do in this network. And it's a 5-year program where you attend a week every summer for 5 years, and then you get that certification.
Oh, wow.
So that was I did that early on in my career, and I'm so glad I did, because I met a lot of people that I still stay in contact with today.
Yeah, I don't think there's any, whether it's degrees or initials behind my names or certifications, Series 65, whatever. I don't regret anything that I've learned.
No, and I often tell people,
even when you learn what not to do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and look, we learn every day, right? I mean, whether it's a formal program or not, we learn every day. Sometimes people ask me about the master's degree, the MBA, and I tell people, that's been very helpful to me, but I didn't do it for a specific job. I did it for myself. And I think that we have to always be willing to learn and add to our experience.
I think people's hesitation, and in my early years, like 90s and early 2000s, I was with the firm and they did not want to join the chamber. They said it won't do anything for us. In fact, I know of another firm that just joined this year.
Yes.
I was pushing, and Melissa Cross from McAleer's Furniture was
pushing. And thank you, by the way, for all the work you do in bringing in new members.
Nothing compared to Melissa Cross. She's amazing. So what do you say to people? Because I think they need to know what kind of programs are available, what events are available, what networking is available, business of the month. And I do want to talk about emerging leaders. And so I'm kind of leading up to the next couple conversations. Yeah. But, Michelle, you went through emerging leaders with my daughter, Katie Galt,
yes.
Payroll Vault. Just throw that in there.
I love that. I love that rhymes. That always makes me smile.
I want to get her a cape like Enoch.
Get her a little green cape. We should do this. It's coming.
Oh, please.
Let's do it.
Okay.
All
we have to
cape
film
for
it,
Katie.
though.
Let me write that down.
So, Bill, if you'll talk about that, when you get to Leadership in Mobile, I would like Michelle's take on what she got out of that program.
Yes, I think that'd be great. I think that would be great. What I tell people is that we are a very large chamber. We're blessed in this community. Our chamber is probably a lot larger than it should be for this size metropolitan area. I think that says a lot about the organization. And I'm not saying there's anything that I'm doing. I'm certainly proud to be a part of it. But this has been a strong chamber for decades. We're the oldest and largest chamber in the state. Since we are a large chamber, we have a tremendous amount of programming. Over 100 events a year. People can plug in lots of different ways. They can get involved on a committee, council, task force. So my question for someone who's considering membership is always, what do you want to get out of it? And let me see if we can help you connect in the ways that will be a value add for you and your business. Because once again, since we are large, we have a portfolio of opportunities for people to get involved.
So the emerging leaders, that's just recent.
Yes, fairly recent program.
Yeah, and Michelle just went through the program, right. And so we weren't specifically speaking about that today because I want to know about everything, as always. The SBA has partnered with Mobile Chamber of Commerce for leadership programs 3 years in a row. There's actually 3 programs in Birmingham. Mm-hmm. Mobile has a 100% graduation rate.
Yes, and aren't we proud of that? That's just fantastic.
These people commit for 7 months.
Yes, and high quality people involved. I know that Danette Richards in our small business department.
We're in Rotary together too. I love her.
She's wonderful, but she has a great perspective because she's been at the chamber for years, and she says she's just amazed at the quality of the people involved in that program.
I think when you ask somebody to commit like that, that they're committed to their business, that they want to take their time. They want to know. They want to learn. And I think that's a big startup.
And for me, as a small business owner, when I first joined the chamber, there were programs for small businesses and there were programs for large businesses. Mm-hmm. But that bridge, that middle-sized business, I felt lost. I mean, not long, because people were being made aware of it, and Danette was talking about it, and she's like, we've got to get something for that middle.
Right,
we have to do something to help bridge that gap between the small and the large business. Mm-hmm. And when the Emerging Leaders program was presented, I called, how do I get in this? First year I couldn't
fits
do
the bill,
it.
Right?
Yeah, so, first year I couldn't do it. I didn't have, because it is such a time
it's
commitment.
A big investment.
It is a big investment of your time, but the return is very much worth it. Yeah. But the second year, as soon as I saw it come out in the chamber newsletter, I was like, how do I get in here? So, but it was definitely worth the time, worth the energy, and then the community that's being built out of this.
Relationships.
Yeah, the community of business owners, these small business owners, we're all connected now. We all have somebody we can pick up the phone and to say, hey, what do you do when this happens? Or do you have somebody that does this for you? It's building that mid-sized business community that wasn't here when I first started.
Yeah, I'm glad you had that experience. And the thing that amazes me the most is, again, the quality of the people that are involved and the fact that we just have this tremendous talent here in this community, really smart people working very hard in various sectors. I think that's something to be proud of.
This brings up a question I had earlier. Now, you've been with the Mobile Chamber for how long?
Well, I've been total over 10 years in total.
So how have you seen our chamber's mission change since you've been involved in it?
Well, I will tell you that the biggest change has been more and more focus on entrepreneurship and innovation. When I came back to the chamber, one of the things that I immediately started talking about is that we have in this community done a fabulous job with large-scale economic development. Recruiting the Airbuses, the Alstals, the former ThyssenKrupp, now AMNS facility. These are large international foreign direct investment companies. Mobile's done a fantastic job at that. What we did not do as well was fostering entrepreneurship. And there's a real opportunity with that. And so, I'm pleased to say that a tremendous amount of work has taken place in the last few years. And this entrepreneurial ecosystem here in Mobile, it has exceeded my expectations in ways that I would have never imagined. We have, entrepreneurs seemingly coming out of the woodwork, getting involved in things like Innovation Portal.
Yeah, you just gave me the perfect segue to thank our sponsor for today. Today's sponsor is the Mastery Network. It's an online course for entrepreneurs who want to learn how to be in business, have better conversations with your advisors or the people around you. Let's all succeed.
What an appropriate sponsorship, right?
Right.
And the fact that when we had a feasibility study done years ago, about 3 years ago, for Innovation Portal for a grant from the Economic Development Administration, that study revealed that we had some 28,000 micro businesses in this area.
Wow.
This even surprised the researcher who does this kind of research across the country. He said typically a metropolitan area the size of Mobile might have 13,000, 14,000, and we had 28,000. That shows me that we have a lot of pent-up demand for entrepreneurial activity. And I think that that's very evident now with what's happening with the innovation ecosystem.
We keep saying Mobile, that's Mobile, Alabama, down at the bottom, because we now have national listeners.
Yes.
And so we've got people, we can track it. We have so many in Denver, North Carolina,
which
Oregon.
Is great.
And so what message would you put to the people across the country about what's attractive about Mobile?
Number one thing would be community. And I know every place says that they have strong community, but what's unique about Mobile is that people are willing to work together and willing to come to the table together. And even though we're a fairly large metropolitan area, we really culturally, we work like a small town. And I like that. I mean, I think that that's really strong when a new business is coming to town. The fact that the city and the county and the university and the chamber and the small business members of the chamber are all there to work with them. I think that that's unique. You don't find that everywhere.
Everybody here always says, especially us born and raised, is that you don't talk about people in Mobile because it's a big, small town, and somebody knows somebody, so that's why you don't talk about anybody.
Yeah, I've been here, total of going on 17 years, and I tell people I still have every week what I call a Mobile moment, where I realize that somebody is related to somebody, yes, or ex-wife or whatever of somebody I had no idea.
That's right.
But again, I like that about the community because people feel like they can be a part of something here.
I think everybody truly wants to help each other out too.
Yes.
And I have found tenfold that if you help somebody else succeed, you're succeeding.
Our phrase at the office is that we are a small town acting like a big city.
Yeah.
But you do. You can get that phone call in the middle of the day. Hey, can you come to my office and help me with something? Yes, I'm on my way. Or I can't. I'll send Amber. It's still that small town mentality. Hey, I need some help. But we do it. We do it every day.
Yeah. And at a chamber event, I mean, you're liable to run into the mayor there or, and in a lot of communities that just doesn't happen.
You run into the mayor everywhere, and I'm starting to wonder if there's more than one of him.
He does a great job.
I don't know how he gets to everything.
I want him to come on the podcast. He told me who to call, but I haven't done it yet. But I really want him on.
He's got a
great scheduler, I guess, because he does. He's very visible, and that's important. But I often hear that from newcomers to Mobile is just how connected everybody is here. And again, it goes back to that community that I was talking about earlier.
Another program that I'm involved in the Chamber is the RAMP program, and they're doing much of that same continuity, that community. I'm new to it. Is that something that you want to talk about?
I've been hearing about RAMP too, and I'm not sure what it is.
Well, RAMP is a program that is really geared towards sort of a smaller business demographic than some of our other programs. It's also geared towards, in many cases, maybe underrepresented populations.
Okay.
It's a way for us to, again, foster entrepreneurship, foster small business development, and making sure that we're reaching everybody in the business community. And I think that that's an area that we have a lot of opportunity. Minority business development, for example. In Mobile, our chamber membership is fairly diverse, particularly our board. We're very, very directed in that we have a cross-representation of our community. And that doesn't just mean race. It doesn't mean just black and white. That means women. That means, small business, medium, large-sized businesses that are located in the city and outside the city, making sure that we have that diversity of thought has been very important for us. But in the community itself, I think the percentage that Daryl Randall shares in our small business department, that in Mobile, even though the city of Mobile, the African-American population is 50%, we really only have closer to 20% of our businesses that are African-American. So, wow, that's an opportunity. How do we do that? I think we do that through entrepreneurship.
Oh, absolutely.
Making sure that minority businesses that are starting up are getting the support network that they need to be successful so that we can grow that part of our population.
I stress to people to surround themselves with people who truly know instead of listening to people while they're getting the haircut or Billy Goat Hole or the golf course. To surround yourself. And I think the Chamber's a good place to do that because nobody's going to be there that's not there either for their business or for the surrounding businesses. So I think it's a great place. What is 1702? Don't y'all do that?
1702, it's
the birthplace of RAMP. They're actually connected.
I love the name.
See, I don't know. I really don't know.
Love the name. 1702, of course, harkens to the original date of the city being founded.
Didn't know that.
And it is it's
learn every day.
It's basically a group of entrepreneurs who have had a successful startup in town, a way for them to network and to learn more, to learn some of the latest things that are going on in the city. Also have outside speakers come in and speak to that group. But it's very much a leadership group, but in the entrepreneurial realm. It will fold into the programming at Innovation Portal once the facility opens on St. Louis Street.
Do you think I'd be a good fit for 1702?
You would be a perfect fit for 1702. It's people like you, people that have been successful, can
thanks.
Yeah, absolutely, but offer those words of advice to other entrepreneurs, things that you might do differently if you had it to do over, lessons you learned.
When I learned what not to do?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's so much value in that, and I think that that's where, again, capitalizing on this community that we have, people being willing to share those kind of things. That's what a startup business needs more than anything else, is what not to do. We always tell people, let's say their business is located in a community where there's another chamber, like a Saraland or, Fairhope Eastern Shore Chamber. We say join that, and then join us as well.
Payroll Vault's in 6 chambers.
We actually have very complementary programming. And so, you're going to get value if you're a member of both 2, 3, 4 chambers. You're going to get value because you're going to have a different network and different programming to access. So we never try to steal, a chamber member from another chamber. That just really, we're in this regionally together.
See, people confuse themselves because competition is good. Don't see people as competition. Consider it in feeding your market.
Right. That's right. That's exactly right. And as far as getting the word out about our programs, I think that, again, that's an opportunity. We need to, as a chamber, stay current and figure out the best way to reach people from a communication standpoint, because that's changing every day. And there's a lot of clutter, a lot of information that we all have access to now. So how do we get the attention? The Business View, we're about to completely revamp that publication. That will be revealed in 2020. It's going to have a totally new look, but it's a great publication. It is the business publication, and it will change to be that much more effective, hopefully, for communicating. And by the way, that goes to every business in this region, not just members of the chamber.
I did not know that.
It's mailed to.
All right, what else do I not know? You don't know what you don't know.
There's so much.
Oh, trust me. For all my gray hair.
Yeah, every day we learn, right?
We can talk later. We can drink wine later.
Start with coffee, finish with wine. As chamber members, as members of this business community, what can we do to support the mission of the chamber to help you continue to do the good things that you are doing in this economy?
Well, certainly investing in the chamber is a good thing. I mean, it does enable us to do the economic development that we do. It enables us to offer the programming that we've been discussing today. But perhaps more importantly is getting involved. So
that's advice number one for businesses.
It really is. Use the network. I talked about how strong the community is. We have a strong chamber because of that community. As a small business, I know that it's an investment of time, which is extraordinarily valuable, and there's not a lot of it. But the more you put into your membership, the more you're going to get out. And, I've been doing this for years, and if I've learned nothing else, I've learned that those members that put it to work get the most out of it. But that's like everything else, right? I mean, it's any organization you're involved in. The more you put into it, the more you're going to get out.
Mine, a big thing is it's not about what you sold, or it's not about selling anyway. It's about relationships.
It is, and people knowing you and trusting you.
Oh, the trust.
Yeah.
And if they don't know somebody for what you need, they know somebody who does.
Well, and that's how you build a strong community. You build the people around you. What is it? A rising tide lifts all ships.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like ships.
More and more, we're not needing to be face to face with someone to, purchase something from a retail store, or, to even socialize. I mean, you don't have to necessarily be face to face, but still, to be able to develop that trust and the relationships, that needs to happen in person. And so I always advise people, take the time to do that. Figure out when it works best in your schedule. The great thing about our chamber is that we have programming that happens all day long. So you can plug in whatever's most convenient for you.
So what's the best way to do that? How do you learn what's going on at the chamber?
Certainly, check out the Business View.
Got that one?
The Business View Weekly, which, that's much more current because
what is that? Is that email?
It comes out by email. All
right. So do they have to sign up for it? Can non-members sign up for it?
Yes, absolutely.
Didn't know that.
You can also go to the website and access anything.
What's the website?
You can access the mobilechamber.com, and you can go to the calendar of events. You can go to the various departments at the chamber.
You can put your events in there.
Yes, in the weekly, we welcome that. We asked you to send.
I should have put the mastery classes in there.
Yep. You should have.
I did not. See, I failed again.
You need a good marketing consultant.
I know. You know anyone?
Well, and I will say that we all need that assistance these days. We need those marketing consultants.
Because you can't do everything. And I don't know how Michelle does what she does, e-work.
Thank you.
I didn't say e-works again.
No. I'm plural. There are
e-work.
There's more than one of us now, so we'll be plural.
Okay. Michelle, I want to thank you for coming on today.
You're welcome.
But I just realized we said one piece of advice. It really turned into three in one conversation.
Yeah, didn't mean that to happen, but I'm happy it did.
The best things happen like that.
I'm happy that it did. The other thing I would end with on that would be, don't limit the market. In other words, this is a region. You mentioned even areas outside the state. Let's not be in a bubble any of us. We need to be thinking about how large, our market can be. What a lot of people are surprised about Mobile is just how international it is.
Yes.
8 of our top 10 manufacturers are internationally based. We have a lot of people that are from other countries that live here. So really, our market is global. And our small businesses need to realize that as well.
You're starting to see it too in the bike paths and in the cuisine and in the walkable spaces and all of the things that are happening because of that influence.
Absolutely,
of those international businesses.
Yeah, and what's going on downtown?
Love downtown. Katie asked when I was going to move downtown. I said if I didn't live on the water, I would.
Yeah, well,
it's
better every day, right?
It is. It's
Anybody
wonderful.
who says there's nothing to do in Mobile, they're not trying to find something to do. There's plenty to do. Get your butts out there if you want your business to be successful. And I want to say cheers to the Mobile Chamber.
Well, thank you. And again, thank you for your volunteering and being a member and supporting. That's what makes it strong.
Do you have a cheers?
Cheers to this community and the
Good
continued advancement of this economy, because the prosperity that we're seeing, I think we've only scratched the surface. And
Cheers
so that's
to that.
a lot to look forward to.
Well, I didn't have one.
You're creative, remember? Come up with one.
Creativity on demand, no pressure at all. I guess I would have to say cheers to the continued support of like business owners and that building of community that we're all doing.
Mr. Bill Sisson, thank you for being here today.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for asking me.
All right, we want to thank you for listening today. Please go subscribe, rate us, review us. We're on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio app. Share it with a friend, and we'll see you next week.
Please be sure to subscribe to Cheers to Business podcast on iTunes or anywhere else that you get your podcast. Visit our Facebook and be sure to give us a like. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to discuss, shoot us an email from the website cheerstobusiness.com.